Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm Miriam Pirra, and I work as assistant professor at the Politecnico di Torino.
Miriam, can you speak up a bit, please?
Yes, sorry. Okay. Do you see it's better now?
No.
No. Now? Okay. And I work as assistant professor of Politecnico di Torino, Italia Technical University, that is partner of the TInnGO project. And today I'm glad to be here at the TInnGO Multi-Stakeholder Forum to moderate this session that will try to shine a light on how it is possible to create a paradigm shift in the education and training connected with the transport and mobility sector. And as you see from the previous session, it was more focused on the employment in a male-dominated domain and sector as the transport one. And also as Maria Chiara and Livia has anticipated in their last questions, there is something that it's needed, something to a step back that is needed. And so it is what we are going to do. Let's say take a step back to what comes before the labor market, namely education and training. And I'm very happy to have the possibility of discussing this topic with three valuable panelists, namely Francesca Ciuffini, Elisabeth Young, and Natasha Carstens, that are already here with us. I don't see Francesca. Okay. And they will introduce their view on the topic with some short presentation. And at the end of the session, there will be time left, I hope, some time left for some questions from the audience. So I invite you to send your questions. And in the TInnGO project, I led, with the support of my colleagues, a task specific that aims at exploring the gender imbalances in the educational provision at the European level in the STEM education. As already cited previously, the main focus is the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, because they are very, very connected with smart mobility. That is a topic that you already heard a lot today. And so I will try to give some basic hints on what we have done and what we have learned from our experience in the TInnGO project. So as you see, smart mobility is a gender-biased domain, and it's related with some main subjects like the transport, mechanical, computer engineering. And most of the competencies are founded in courses related with the STEM. And this is an important starting point to address the gender gaps in the transport sector. And we found, as already, most of them has already been cited, some barriers for the participation of women in this domain, study domain. Stereotypes, some social norms, some cultural practices, some family background. There is also usually an absence of women as role models, and there is some limited access to networks, funding, and institutional support. So more practically, we did some data collection, and we focus on two different kinds of data. We focus on a selection of STEM university and secondary school covering these subjects in the different TInnGO countries to collect data and numbers about the staff and the students' gender composition and other indicators related to smart mobility. Then we focus on the practices and initiatives through a desktop review of these practices that aims at encouraging and supporting women in the transport sector education. The main limitation in these activities has been due to the availability of data, because it's very different in the different countries. Most of these data are only limited to people dealing and working in academic databases. So there are only some restricted databases, and most of these information are available only in the national languages. So it's not easy to do a comparative analysis. And on the other side, on the side of the desktop research, we have some difficulty in finding specific relevant initiative in the specific field of transport. And so it's not favorable for the promotion of a gender balance in this sector. So we think that visibility is very important. And I'm showing you here some hints of some practices that we have found around. There are lots of them. We found 44, we analyzed more in detail, let's say 44 initiatives. And these are a table and showing the main results. Let's say we see that the main ways of proposing initiatives are proposing mentorings and workshops or conferences. Then the main target groups are the students of the secondary schools that are commonly, this is commonly an age where decisions about the future are typically taken. And we see a lot of interest of STEM companies in those practices, and a different kind of promoter going from association, NGO, the STEM company themselves, and schools and universities. And thanks to the increased use of social media and available online, this is a rather used tool kind of promoting events, and also the creation of networking is it's find a lot. We also identified 3 main case studies, one coming from Germany, that is FEMTEC, that is an initiative that tries to connect the female STEM students in business and science to support them in their personal career development, to establish diversity in the teams of company, to break up some male-dominated structures. Then they are proposing also an association that encourages schoolgirls to decide on their career in the STEM sector. And then they are also assuring a career building program. Then we found also, I'm a little bit biased by the initiative because it comes from my university, but it's very recent and very, some good results are found. It's the one Polywo, Polito for Women, that is a project funded by the university itself, aiming at encouraging female students to enroll them to the engineering courses. They do it through specific communication campaigns for secondary school students. They are proposing also mentoring for fresh women in the university and tutoring activities. They are also organizing some bi-monthly meetings for the teaching staff to discuss about the topic. And in the last academic year, we found some results, in the sense that it has been found the historical peak of female enrollment in engineering compared to the previous year. Then we also identify a case study coming from UK that is named STEMettes. It is a social enterprise which encourages girls from 5 to 22 years old to pursue their personal career in STEM in different ways. For example, they are proposing an app for these young female students. They are proposing an outbox program to help girls to create in their own startups. And they are showing and providing as a result a good spirit of collaboration between all the girls. And some final insights that we have found, as already anticipated, that we have some issue with the data, but what we have found that, as already cited previously by Livia, by Maria Chiara, the female presence in the personal employed, both employed and teaching, both in the students, it's very low. And but we found a wide network of association and mentoring that is operating to try to make these female aware of their potentialities in a deeply gender biased field like the STEM one. And so it is very important what we have found is to have a combined work of the educational institution and companies. And though I would like to stop speaking before the other panelists, saying I think that is important, the issue about education and training for women and girls, because according to the United Nations numbers, the world is on to more than 1.1 billion girls under age 18 that are expected to become the largest generation of female leaders, entrepreneurs, and change makers the world has ever seen. So these days is marked, it's the 11th of October. That is International Day of the Girl Child. In this occasion, the TInnGO project proposes a series of fun science videos to promote the STEM education for girls. And the main thing is that, as already anticipated by various speakers before, the issue is that about the other half of the population, it is important to avoid to risk of not exploiting the contribution of this other half of the population. So it's important to involve them, to help, to bring them with their new innovative aspects and their knowledge to bring some innovative aspect in all the fields. And so I stop sharing my screen. Wait, if I found it, okay. And I could invite Francesca to sharing her screen. And I start introducing her. I only took some notes. And she's Francesca Ciuffini. And I encourage the audience to take a look at her rich CV on the program of the forum. Now I just highlight some points to introduce her while she's sharing their presentation. And Francesca is a transport engineer, a planner, and a researcher with a wide experience in transport planning in the rail sector. And with her work, she aims at boosting the modal shift from car towards sustainable transport. She's the president of the Gender Equality Committee of the Italian Railway Group. She's enthralled by gender perspective in the transport system as both for users and employees. And the thing that she notified me the first time we met, also by virtually, Francesca and her family live free of cars. So Francesca, are you?
Yes, hello.
Okay.
Thank you, Miriam, and hello, everybody. For what I do, I'm sitting at the nexus of mobility and gender, and I think that mobility is the reflection of many gender inequalities. Just an example from analysis of data got from mobility managers survey in my company about displacement of employees to workplaces and from workplaces. What we could get is that how huge is the difference between men and women in the multi-purpose displacements, reflecting the strong asymmetry in the burden of car giving. The goal of my speech is to define which wider system we are looking at and how this wider system or framework can get the result of having more women in transport for more inclusiveness for employees as well, and maybe above all for users. And I'll show you 2 slides. And I'm a STEM engineer a STEM woman in a prevalent male environment. What I do observe is what follow. Okay, we have a framework that this is one, and this is a transport system designed by men towards men's needs, and a to be scenario with 2 goals. First goal, it's about more women in transport. This is a goal itself, I mean an internal goal, to get more inclusive multimodal transport system. This is the second goal. And both are to achieve more employment opportunities for women and a better environment within organization. The second goal is to achieve on-car dependency reduction and modal shift towards multimodal transport, with an overall ultimate goal of environmental, social, and economic sustainability. The assumptions are the following: a purpose that is more women in transport, and a precondition. The precondition is more women with STEM. Here I can briefly talk about what my company does with the Women in Motion campaign in schools with the drivers to attract more girls to STEM subjects and to empower them and to better environment, to build a better environment inside the organization. And the goal of the Women in Motion campaign is to broaden the range of girls' choices and awareness of girls when choosing university and studies, as well as to develop males' awareness about importance of sharing caregiving within families. Okay, and this is the assumption, but what I think is that, okay, more women within STEM, but we also need more core within STEM. What's core? It's an acronym created by the futurist Gerd Leonard that means creativity, compassion, originality, reciprocity, and empathy, that are all the qualities we need if we want to build the future and to drive the innovation towards the future. And another thing I think is that in this framework, we need also an adaptive culture. I mean, we have to go beyond the macho time, as stated by Anne Slaughter from Obama board, and the command and control mindset. And we need an inclusive one, able to get feedbacks and care about the needs of employees as well of transport users. And what I mean with macho time, macho time is a time schedule on males' productive needs. That means a man's privilege. And what is this privilege? It's being able to offer an unconditioned time availability because women are mostly the sole caregiver. This is the gap I can feel on my shoulder when working during these years. And men's privilege means that it's a privilege that becomes a competitive advantage in a competitive environment when this availability is considered as one of the main career booster. And it also means a privilege of not having a dilemma of choice between work, career versus family and caregiving. And macho time also means women's disadvantage as bans to enter the workplaces, and once inside, huge efforts and stress to fulfill the dilemma males don't have, or giving up career to rise up a family with love. So my conclusion is that what's the wider system? The wider system is the transfer system organized by men towards men's needs. And whatever will be the number of STEM women we will be able to enter the system, if we don't change the macho time mindset and command and control mindset, we risk to break the promises. And what we need is an adaptive culture, more inclusive for employees and all users. And we need it now more than ever with the COVID. What did the COVID do? It has pulled out all of us into a new mindset where empathy, communication, bridge generation, inclusiveness, and a natural project management attitude as women do in the family are the quality needed to drive the innovation. And COVID has also changed mobility patterns. Just an example, in the in the railway long distance segment, we have that the business segment has been dissolved, vaporized. So we have to be creative and think about new patterns, new model, new transport model, able to get feedback from other and different market needs. To conclude, my opinion is that we also have to find solution outside the male's mindset. I mean, just with an example, the tool of work-life balance should be seen as not a tool for women only, but a tool for everybody, men as well, organization. Otherwise, it means it becomes a boomerang and a privilege and an advantage for men. And another example about gender quotas, and I think that women inclusion is valuable when it brings a new adaptive mindset to transport organization, and not if it means more homologated women to men's culture. And in conclusions, I could quote something said by Simone de Beauvoir about two different approaches. The approach of immanence, that means that we accept the world, and in this case, a male's world. And another approach that's called transcendence, that means that we want to transform the world. That's all, and thank you.
Thank you. There is not the applause, but it's like this. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Francesca. And there are some issues raised by the audience, but we will left them for the final moment. So I am now pleased to introduce to the audience the next panelist, that is Elisabeth Young. And I invite you to start sharing your screen. Great, okay. And the audience could have a look at our CV also in the webpage of the program. And in this moment, I would remark a very long career in the automotive sector, where she held the important position in various car maker companies. And Elisabeth, she's the president of WAVE, that is, as you see in the slides, Women and Vehicles in Europe. But I leave the floor to you so you can speak more in details about that. So thank you very much. And the floor is yours.
Thank you, Miriam. Thank you, and welcome to everyone. So as Miriam said, I'm in the business in the automotive and mobility sector for nearly 25 years. So I'm quite aware of what's going on the transformation as well. I'm the president and the co-founder of an association called WAVE for Women and Vehicles in Europe. So today, my objective is not so much to talk about education, but about the gap when the women and the young girls are coming in the professional life, maybe 2 or 3 years after they graduated, and also what we are doing on a more daily basis to induce girls and young girls to look at the transport and mobility sector in a new way, and to think that they can also be part of it. So WAVE, just to mention that because it's very important, it's also part of a European project funded by the Horizon 2020 project. So it's called Diamond. And my colleagues, Chiara was part of the panel just before me. So I just wanted to remind you a few things about Diamond, but you can have more look on the site. But we're working also on more inclusive work in the transport sector with Diamond. So WAVE is part of this consortium. Please feel free to go to the Diamond site because it's quite interesting, and we have some surveys also online that are important to be filled in. So who is WAVE very quickly, because I want to focus on what we are doing for the younger girls and in terms of education. So it was created in France in 2008, so quite a long time ago. It was created because I was feeling very frustrated to see mostly men in this business and things not changing at all. So it was my personal and very individual belief that we should do something to have a more gender balanced organization in the automotive and mobility sector. As of today, we are more than 1,700 people in the association. So it's a non-profit organization. And it's mainly a professional network, as I say. And what was very important for us is to have women, of course, in this association, but also men, to change the mentality and make things happen quicker. So we have big partners in the automotive fields and mobility field, mainly in France. as you see, big names of OEMs and tier 1 supplier. And also what I would like to share with you is our objective. So of course, greater diversity, gender balance in the automotive and mobility. We want to engage everyone, female and male. So as you see, every time we do an event, a professional event, we make sure that they are both involved in what we are doing. And we want to show that women are involved in the transportation mobility sector, and that they are quite present, if not visible enough, but they are there. And we want to open the sector to the expertise that women can bring. We think it's very specific. So how do we achieve this objective? What do we do? So you've got a few pictures, but we do a lot of networking events, usually with more than 300 participants, men and women, as I said before. We are also recognizing success. We have every year the Woman of the Year Award, which is a big event. And this woman is our ambassador towards girls and education. And also we give an award of the Startup of the Year created or founded and or managed by a woman. We have also decided to include male leaders in our objectives, and very often we ask them to be in a webinar or an event to talk about their perception of gender diversity in the sector. And also, as you could see on our site, waveauto.com, we do a lot of survey as well and studies to show that the benefit of having more women in the business. So we have also something very specific for young women. It's called the mentoring program Generation Y. And it's towards this young women who are starting working. And we give them the opportunity to have a mentoring program to help them in their career and ask and answer that question in a very professional way. And it's a good way to make sure that women who started in the transport and mobility business are going to stay longer, because we often realize that after 3 years, they gave up because they think that they will not find good opportunities of career improvement. And so they switch sectors. So this is a good way to retain the competency of women in the business. So what we are partnering with is special events also towards young women of the industry. One is made by the French government, Industriel, and there are some role-playing game, for instance. All of this is to show for younger girls at college or higher education that they could be part of this industry. And there is also a Girls on the Move week done by another association called L-Move. And we are supporting them because we think it's very important for adolescent girls to see that they could be part of this industry. Another thing we are publishing now, it's quite new, it will be released in the next few weeks. It's a book of role model. As I mentioned before, WAVE is giving an award every year for the Woman of the Year. So this is a summary testimony of the last 6 Women of the Year. And they gave their opinion about the business as they seen it in the past few years. But also they give concrete examples of difficulties that they had to overcome, and also very personal insights. So we think that it's a good way to have this role model to prove that the transport and mobility sector is also available for young girls, and that they should not be thinking that it's not for them. So it's something we want to push forward, this role model, so that it's another way to educate girls to see that they can do as previously male role were allocated, and they can do it as well. So this is what I wanted to share with you, the fact that we are really a link between the education and the professional world. and that we are inducing by different professional events, by mentoring, by showing role model, that we could convince hopefully girls, young girls, that they have really a place in this automotive and mobility business.
Thank you very much, Elisabeth. Thank you for giving us your view. And also in this case, I will leave some questions for the end. And always time is always running. So thank you. I will now move to the first speaker of the session. So I could ask Natasha, Carstens to reach us. Okay. And I think Elisabeth has to, okay, thank you very much. So that Natasha could start sharing the screen. And Natasha will help us in focusing on another facet of education and training associated with the transport and mobility domain. Natasha holds a master in environmental planning from Roskilde University. She's a certified project manager. She's an owner and a consultant at the Carstens Climate Consulting, and she's working with bicycles and electric cars for sustainable development. And today she will mostly present us through a voluntary job at Red Cross Denmark as an activity leader on learning immigrant women to bicycle. So thank you very much, Natasha. Are you able to share your screen? Do you want some support with this presentation? Okay, so you can start.
Can you see my?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
It's you. Okay. Okay, great. Now, yes, it's working. Yes. Okay, so the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miriam. Thank you for the presentation, and hello, everybody. I would like to make a presentation on the interventions to increase diversity of women in transport by bicycle, with the case here in Denmark. As Miriam said, I'm a volunteer activity leader at Red Cross in Denmark, and there I have taken this case about well, how we can get more diversity of women who can use bikes as a means of transport. Red Cross Denmark is making integration of refugees and immigrants in the Danish society via the activity to learn them to ride a bicycle. We call it just bike training. As many of you might know, Denmark is in general a very good place to bicycle. It's secure, and there are many. Well, it's very fast to go by bicycle in many places. Well, as the time is running, I won't say all the things in my slide presentation, just some of it, and hope that you will get the slides afterwards. So, well, in Denmark, many jobs, it is relevant or mandatory to be able to bike. And when refugees and immigrants come to Denmark, many of them cannot bike, and they want to learn how to bike, to be able to go around cheap and easy and so forth. So the Red Cross and also Danish Refugee Council have bike training courses in some refugee centers and also in cities. And this case I will present to you is from the city of Ishøj. It's a suburb south of Copenhagen. And that's where we have this photo I have taken of one of the participants, an immigrant lady who have been living in Denmark for quite some time. It differs a lot how long time these women who are doing this training course in Ishøj, how long time they have been living in Denmark, and how good they are in Danish. But the course is in Danish and also a little in English if we need to. And as you can see, this lady, she is smiling, and that's, as for me as a volunteer, that's a big part of doing this job as volunteer, that you can see that these ladies are so happy of learning how to bike. Yes, and the training field, as you just saw, we'll just go back, It's a safe and secure place in the middle of a living area, and the buildings here are a nursery and we are training in the weekend, so there are nearly no people there, and no cars are allowed. And this is the photo shows the nearby training surroundings, and you can see cars are not allowed in between the buildings. I'll just show you with my arrow here that the training course is in here, so only with bikes and pedestrians allowed. So the target group of this bike training is immigrant women. There are not many refugees coming to Denmark at the moment due to the politicians in Denmark. And I've written like some facts about the training, as I said, in the weekend. And the trainers are volunteers like me. I'm the activity leader here at Red Cross Ishøj for the bike training. And this course has been going on for 3 years. Yes, and I think it's part of getting the women to come for this course is that they are living quite nearby. That's a good thing to have a bike training nearby people. So why does the participants, these ladies, want to learn to bike? And many of you might know postdoc Mikola Vibrenko from the University of Copenhagen, who is also in the TInnGO project. She's been doing some interviews of the ladies this year, and I've just written in short like some of like their answers on why they want to learn to bike, and most of them they would like to use it to go to work faster and easier, and for shopping. And Mikola, she can elaborate on that later on, I guess. And then I've been writing down some of those things I think that they're also are motivated about when they have begun the training. And it's absolutely that this is a practical education, that they learn to bike by doing it and looking what the trainers, me, well, here, and these two ladies with the white hair are also volunteer trainers. What we do to show them how to bike. So the education in this training, many of the ladies coming are more than 40 years old. I guess that it's because many of the younger women have too much to do with kids and so on. So now they when the kids have grown old, they have the time to learn to bike, and many of them have never biked before. So that's like the basic for them. So the education about their like how they can use their physical conditions. They need to have a good balance to bike. If you yourself close your eyes and imagine that you are going to bike for the first time in your life, and you don't know how to do it, how to get the bike moving, and how to stay on the bike, not fall off, well, then you might imagine like these physical and psychological things going on. Like you need to believe in yourself, and you need to dare to be better, and you also need to feel safe and secure. And that's why we as you can see in this picture again, we have this very safe and secure surrounding to start up learning to bike. And then afterwards we go out in I'll just go back to this area. We go between these buildings, still without cars. And then when they feel ready for it, Then we go out where there are cars, first at when there are bicycle lanes, but also at streets with where they are biking just nearby the driving cars without bicycle lanes. Oh, sorry. And when they have learned to bike, we also learn them the Danish traffic rules, which are very important, especially for other people in the traffic, especially car drivers, who need to know when they are turning right, that they need to show that, and when they turn left. And especially in Denmark, we also have a stop sign, so the people behind them can see. Also other people on bikes can see, now I'm stopping. So that is also very important, that they need to learn before they get their diploma of that they have learned to bike. So the trainer, me and the other volunteer trainers, you could say we are role models. We show them how to bike and how to follow the traffic rules. And I guess it's very important for them to have us like just nearby, that we can show them just immediately how to do. And then we also praise a lot what they're doing, and also try to make a good atmosphere, so they keep on trainings, even though they might feel it's hard, also because sometimes they will fall down and hurt themselves. But yeah, that's also why we say that it's a demand from Red Cross that they have to wear helmets, even though in Denmark it's not a national demand. It's only well, it's for free if you want to wear a helmet in Denmark. So can bike training of immigrant women be a successful intervention to increase diversity in transport? I think yes, both as private mobility, for example, to go to work, but also as mobility at workplaces, bikes in the transport sector and other sectors. For example, in Denmark, it's mandatory to bike if you would like to become a certificated healthcare worker. And that's the woman at the photo, well, both of them, they are healthcare workers. And the one at the bicycle, she's yeah, learning how to find the balance and to get on moving on the bike. And many of these healthcare workers are going out to elderly people. That's a mean of transport to that place. So I will just show you shortly 6 examples on where we normally in Denmark use bicycles, and where I think that women certainly also, well, yeah, will be in place. There is a normal post delivery on normal bikes, and also electrical e-bikes, and then also these cargo bikes with electricity, and they are 3-wheeled. So the balance problem well, it's not a problem with a 3-wheeled bicycle to keep the balance. So these immigrant women also have a good chance there, even though their balance might not be so well. Yes, there are 2-wheel delivery cargo bikes, electric if you don't have so many muscles to go on by yourself all the way. And then we have this funeral coffin 3-wheeled cargo bike, which is I think it's invented by these Danish ladies who are, well, doing funeral services. Then we have the electric innovation of the rickshaw cargo bike at the left picture, taking elderly people out. It's actually, this photo is from a volunteer organization taking elderly people out, but it can also be used by workers as healthcare workers. And the last picture I want to show you is this newly intervention in Denmark with the daycare going to pick up children at their homes on electric cargo bikes. So not only that the daycare go out on trips during the day with the kids, but they also can offer busy parents to go and pick up the children in the morning. So the parents hopefully can get their children back earlier in the afternoon. Yes, so that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all the panelists, and thank you for this interesting also picture. The cargo bike as you use it, a coffee. It's first time I see it. Never seen it before. There are some questions. I don't know how much time do we have, so I asked Andrea in case to stop us. And there are some questions for you, Natasha. I'll start from some of them. Then you can maybe also answer them privately later. I just going to time in the order, and there are a couple of people in the audience that are asking if it's better when the trainers are not are volunteers or not volunteers. In the sense, it's better if the trainers are volunteers or professional. And there is a feedback from Spain that say that they are experimenting that it is better when the trainers are not volunteer. And there is an issue about safety, and so I think this is, you can stop sharing the screen and just, okay, thank you very much. And there is also Andrea.
Yeah, we are running very much behind time here. So thank you for stopping sharing your screen. We need to have a very quick break now. So maybe for 5 minutes before we go on to the keynote. So if you can take this time, if anyone wants to ask questions, then do so. But the rest of us, let's start back at 10 past, please, to try and make up some time. Thank you.
Okay, so Natasha could answer if there are the, okay, no, there are the.
Should I answer by writing or talking?
I think if the people asking the question are still there, you can try to give a quick. Yeah, you can talk. Okay. You can. We have these 5 minutes now until the next session, so you can answer the issue about the volunteers compared to the professional that are training. Okay.
I would say that I guess there is both good and bad about that. It's volunteers who are the trainers. Because it depends a lot of the volunteer, how much they know about bicycling and rules, and how much time they have to go into that. In Denmark, I don't think there are many places where people are getting paid to learn grown-up people to bicycle. So, and I guess if it was a job, and you got the money to prepare well, then you would be a better trainer. But the good thing about volunteers are that they are very motivated. They only do it because they really want to learn these women to bicycle. Yeah, but it's like as you can see, my two co-volunteers are elderly ladies. So they also need to be take care that they are not hurting themselves. We would very much like to help the participants to hold their bikes behind them. We're not doing it because of COVID at the moment, but last year, the years before, we did it. And you would only do it if you know that you have the strength, the muscles to help them good with it, to get the balance.
Okay, thank you. So
I answer all the questions, or
I think maybe you can you see them probably. I don't know.
Well, I certainly think that public actors take more responsibility for this.
So I think we can now close the session. Thank you very much for the speaker, because there is the keynote coming on. Thank you very much to all the audience, and see you soon.